Good afternoon, guys. Haven't done an update in a while. I want to say it's been probably about a month because it was right before my son's birthday. So because of that, you may see a little few water balloons in the yard, but I've changed a lot in the past few weeks, and most of the work was done yesterday and today. So I just wanted to give like a basic rundown as to exactly what I've been doing. One thing, if I could stop stuttering, I went ahead and uprooted my blueberries. So I had 3 blueberries on the side of the house. This is actually a pink blueberry, so I guess it's not blue. And then these 2, I believe, are Patriot, is the cultivar. I went ahead, they were on the side of the house. Side of the house is right up against a concrete wall, just like this. And, the soil there just really sucks. So I put them all over there last year. I put the pink blueberry over there last year, and it completely stunted. Did have a little bit of new growth. But these guys are, believe it or not, almost 4 years old. So they're about 3.5 years old. I believe we put them in the spring of 2015. And they're still this big, which is not how a high bush blueberry should be. So I did go ahead and just get a generic potting mix. I mixed it with a little bit of compost and added more perlite just for better drainage. And then these are nice 7-gallon tubs that a couple evergreens came in. So they should do really well over the next year, and then I can find them a better permanent home if I can't improve the soil on the side of the house. Hops has made a nice little spring back, despite the really awful hot weather we've had. The last week has been pretty nice. My little crepe myrtle doing all right. Everything else, in the containers, nothing crazy to report. Butterfly bush, I've been swarming with butterflies all day. Oh, where'd he go? There he is. Not much going on here. I've decided I think I'm going to just take that out, and then starting in the spring, I'm going to, in the raised bed, turn that into my herb garden. This has kind of been like the let's see what I can put in here garden. And I need something with more structure. I need something more dedicated, and when I do go out and I'm cooking, I'd like to be able to just run over there and grab some herbs. So it was a nice idea, but it just hasn't really. I mean, geez, look at this patchouli. It's just totally taken over. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this thing. Right here, I don't actually know what these plants are. These were my leftover little Jiffy pot starters that were just very stunted. Didn't really do a whole lot. Started these about 6 weeks ago. I believe it's tatsoi, and this may be a Batvian endive. It may be Bib. So if it is Bib, it's going to get very large. Well, I guess if it's the endive too. And then I went ahead and put some Wando peas that dried from earlier this year, and I'm going to have them trellis up where the Mexican sour gherkin was. I didn't change the substrate. I just went ahead and left it, added some leaf grow compost on top, and I'm just going to see what happens in the next few weeks. Over here, got a couple fig trees. With the disappointment of the apple, I went ahead and actually got a cutting from my boss. She has a fig tree, and so this is actually all attached through one branch. I dug this in here, so this was about a month ago. I've already got lots of little suckers, and then this was sent to me by a very kind gentleman, and this is at least doubled since I've gotten it. So this is oh man, I cannot remember the name of this one. American something. I know I have it written down. And this guy is either Brown Turkey or Celeste. I may just have to wait until they actually put out figs to really know. But I do plan on putting these guys in the actual ground come springtime. May need to overwinter them in the shed just because I am just about on the end zone of where figs can survive. So we're gonna see who survives, and these were a couple cuttings that just didn't make the cut. So another little project, started this yesterday, and it's kind of ambitious, so we'll see if I have enough organic material to fill this. Went ahead and mowed a huge circle. right down as low as the mower could go, just to kind of mark out the area. And I've just been loading all my debris, any plants I've been taking out, weeds, a couple sunflowers I took down. So generally I'm going to leave the seeds so the birds can enjoy them. That's why I put the sunflowers on the outside. I'm just going to let, like the little golden finches go crazy on them. And what I plan on doing here is, a lot of sheet mulching over the fall. Should be getting a lot of leaves. Maybe I'll grab a couple bales of straw, wood chips if I can get a hold of them. Whatever I can put on here just to completely kill the grass underneath for now. And I will put one of the figs here, and then I'll make like a nice little fig guild over the next couple years. So whatever little companion plants go really well with the fig, I'll go ahead and chuck in here. So, like I said, this is literally, it's like 24 hours old, this project, but I've already got a decent pile. So as fall cleanup, narrows down, I got my butternuts finally dying, so you can see the nice little butternuts that the plant has produced. I think I got another one hanging on there, got another one down there. So I'll just rip this whole thing out at some point. I've been working out here pretty much all day today, and I don't really feel like working anymore. But, that'll go in the pile, and I'll eat the butternuts. So that was a nice little volunteer. Probably saved me a chunk of money if I were to buy butternut. And carrots need to be thinned, but I did pull a lot of weeds out of here. So a lot of things kind of got uprooted and moved around. We're expecting some rain here, so I'm going to see who really springs up, thin it after that. Maybe a little wonky, but whatever. I went ahead and staked my amaranth here. They did fall down to the ground with all the rain we've gotten, and as these seed heads are, obviously not going to dry up if they sit on the ground and they're sopping wet, just wanted to go ahead and stake them up. So the other guys may end up in the pile. Now, I didn't get everything I wanted done here today, and in my little gardening notebook I have these numbered. This is to the left here V3, V4, and V5, V1 and V2 in the back there. So both those little vegetable beds, I'm still leaving the tomatoes on, the Romas. Didn't want to yank those out quite yet. And then here it was just kind of a disaster. I put down some kale seeds a couple weeks back, and they just got shredded up by bugs. So even though I am putting a lot of brassicas in here lately, I really think with the cold weather being so close, this should work out a little bit better. So what I have here is Brunswick cabbage, and this is Bib lettuce that I've mixed in here. I've given a lot of room in between the plants as the Brunswick cabbage get pretty large, as I found out this spring. And then the little tomato cage, I actually put a couple peas down. So I'm just going to see if those peas will make it to actual, put on a pod before the super cold weather sets in. I believe they will. So that's that. That's kind of left for a little walkway. Still have the Corsican basil here. Did have to stake a couple of these. And, the leeks are doing okay. I think I'm going to see if I can't get them to last until spring so I can collect some seed. I do like leeks, but I just didn't start enough this spring to get a real harvest out of. And in here I have my Red Russian seedlings that I started indoors. So these guys have been hardening off. Really all my greens that I've put in today have been hardening off for about a week. In the kind of gloomy weather, which has really been perfect. So this is, the idea is this whole bed will be mostly Red Russian kale, and then I ran out of kale plants and just popped a little Brunswick cabbage in there. So we'll see how that does. Over here, which was the corn guild, I did leave one of the cosmos, and have this giant sunflower smacking me in the face. But here was really kind of like the odds and ends of the seeds I started. So a couple more cabbage. I have the Batavian endive here, and some tatsoi all around here. I did cut my fennel down to a stump. I believe it will come back next year. I can actually already see some new growth there. So that's really exciting. So I don't know if it'll come back in the fall or if I have to wait till spring. But I had the swallowtail caterpillar just totally take all the leaves off of these things. So wasn't getting much out of it, just like I wasn't getting anything out of the black brandywine tomatoes for some reason. Did very poorly this year. Over here, well, here's an actual success. This is a bok choy that I started July 15th. You know, here we are almost 2 months after that. Actually, almost exactly 2 months after that. And it's doing fantastic. Normally brassicas don't do really well in the heat, and we've had some really awful heat. So I did get really excited, and I mixed all this up a couple weeks back. Put down some spinach seeds. The spinach seeds I had didn't have a really great germination rate, and weeds took over. So there are still a few spinach in here, but not really what I wanted. So what I've gone ahead is I've just mixed in like some red romaine. I have the, I believe this is more Bib lettuce. And that, okay, so this is Bibs and romaine. And then I have a few, I have put about 8 broccolis in. So I'm going to see how those broccolis fare. Right here, this was literally just all my leftover greens seed. And there are a couple weeds in here. Also put in some radish seed just because the idea was to kind of have like a little salad garden. So some Mizuna, I believe, you know, just the rest of my lettuces and maybe a couple brassicas, you know, and then some radish. So as I thin this, you know, I'll use the little greens for salad. And then as they start to kind of take over and spread out, I'll have like some nice heads of greens that I can cook up. So the idea is get some fiber in my system this fall. I think between the cabbage and the broccoli are the only non-green thing, or not technically leafy greens, even though I can eat the broccoli leaves that way if I choose. So anyway, I think I've rambled long enough. That's really what's going on in the garden here. And yeah, till next time, guys. Thank you.